trying to figure out, the internet or something,
Oh,
right?
okay. All
All
right.
Some
right.
old
So,
dudes.
Okay, Max ended.
Yeah, Matt. He's
and
gonna
now it
he's gonna
still
go live
says
again.
waiting for Military Arms Channel to start.
Yeah,
It's just not
yeah,
letting me do it.
yeah. It
Oh
might be
wait,
in how
no.
you
Wait a minute. Nope. There it is. I'm
is
live on.
live.
I'm live.
Okay, let me go take a look.
Refresh yours, Lola, and let me know.
Let's go see.
Yeah, everyone go back and check out all the Macalites. Go back over to Military Arms Channel.
Okay. There we go, guys.
Yeah, Kathleen Music Lover says Mac has no name on his, so it probably
Yeah,
just
I
says live
probably
or
don't.
something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I just got it again. Error in changing broadcast status.
Lola says she sees you.
Okay, yes. Yes.
You see him?
Working
Yeah.
now.
It probably just froze.
Yeah. Shooting Gallery Northeast says I just got the notification from Max. So.
All right. Nope. It's still everybody's saying hi, and I'm
Yeah.
still live. So
Yeah.
it's
We're
working.
testing the
Okay.
limits here.
Perfect.
Oh, Lola wants me to move around and do
Okay.
stuff. So here I am moving around.
While we're getting this all set up, guys, so this is kind of new, right? So Hank and I are running some new software that is allowing us to stream to both of our channels the exact same stream at the exact same time. And this is kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this done before. And
No.
we're testing it here. So now that we can see that we're both actually live, what we're going to do is have a discussion. So Hank,
Yes.
what's some of the stuff that's got you excited this past week, man? There's been a lot of crazy stuff going on since NRAM, and we can kind of start there and move forward if you want, or whatever's on your mind.
Yeah. So the last time I saw you actually was at NRAM 2019.
Yep.
But you weren't on the show floor. I think you had a meetup for your patrons that came to NRAM, which was cool. Thanks for inviting me.
Yep.
It's fun.
Absolutely.
And I should have ordered champagne, but since it was on your dime, I feel bad about that, to be honest with you. I was like, man, I ordered more food, and I could have taken stuff back home. No, I wouldn't do that to you. Yeah. So since then, actually during that, the whole NRA drama was going nationwide, right? I think probably. I'm going to say maybe going back to even about 2 weeks before that, the drama was really kicking up. We've been looking at it for some time, but everyone out there in the wide world started looking at it. And then during the show, it just all really got heated up.
All unraveled. And so a lot of folks, right after the tragedy in Vegas, I pretty much denounced any association with the NRA. It made the blogs, and I went basically on the war path. And most people kind of sat back and thought, Max off his rocker, and it's like, well, what's he doing, man, going after the NRA like this? And I was just I was ready to expose all their little dirty little secrets I'd gleaned from the 5 months or so that I was supporting them because of Pete Brownell, which is another news story. I guess we'll talk a little bit about. But
yeah, because there's stuff going on there too.
A lot of stuff going on there. So the reason for most of my life, all my life, I've been very angry at the NRA, and I never fully supported them. And then Pete Brownell contacted me, and at the time he was a board member, but he knew he was going to ascend to the presidency. And he had reached out to me, and we had breakfast, and he said, hey, man, look, there are a lot of problems with the NRA, and I want to right the ship. Under my leadership, I'm going to try to do everything I can to fix everything that's broken with the NRA, and I'm going to need people like you to help spread the message and stuff like that. And I wasn't the only person that he had reached out to over time. Several other prominent YouTubers were contacted, and we all agreed, like, yeah, man, I'm definitely for change, man. Let's get the corruption out of the NRA, and let's get it going forward and make it a useful organization that truly fights for our rights and stops the compromise nonsense. But
because we all knew a fight was coming, even though we all had our different complaints and stuff like that, we knew that a fight for the Second Amendment was coming, right? So we were all trying to get together at that point and work everything out. Is that a fair assessment?
I think so. Yeah. I learned, for a while there that, there was a lot of chaos within the NRA. It was an organization that was clearly split down the middle. And they have 76 board members, and there's a very vocal minority. I wouldn't say they're even very vocal, there's a minority of board members that are sick of the corruption that really want to affect change. But with 76 board members, it's impossible to do. The reason they have so many board members is so they can shield themselves from hostile takeovers, which happened in 1977 in Cincinnati. And so, the Wayne Lapierres and the Chris Coxes, who are the cancer within the organization, are entrenched for life. And the board is basically unaware. Like when they sued Ackerman McQueen, the board was never even consulted with. They did it on their own. And the board is supposed to lead the organization, but the board is totally ignored.
It's not what we really think that it is. It seems to me I liken it to, at one point, I was a Teamster. I was in the Teamster Union in New York. Don't hold that against me. It seems like that to me, with all the corruption and the mafia and stuff like that that's involved in which happened in New York, probably still happens, or like a big pyramid scheme.
Thanks, Kevin. I just popped a message up there from Kevin. Thanks, man. Trying to keep up with all the chat stuff going on, trying to chat and talk, but and also playing with the features of the software. So that's why I got on board with the NRA for that short time, and I wish I could delete those videos, but there's good content there, so I won't. But but I told him, I told Pete, I told everybody else that I will be your best friend. If you ever stab gun owners in the back, I will become your worst enemy. And the day they made that joint statement, and it's still on their website, where the NRA backed and called for action to ban bump stocks, I immediately suspended my support. I called Pete, and Pete said, "I know what you're going to say, man, and I fully support you." I said, "I'm out, and I'm pissed." And to this day, Pete and I are friends. Fast forward to what just happened. Hank, I'll let you take it. I don't want to dominate the conversation.
Oh, no, that's cool, man. I like listening to you talk about stuff. So, so that news broke so now, after everything happened with you, and I know that you're a very passionate person. That's what we all appreciate about you, and this kind of played out in real time. I think you were going somewhere. Was it the IV event or something that was going down around that time? The
IV 88 event was going down. Pete flew in, and it just so happened that joint statement was posted while he was in air, and he didn't know it had happened until he landed. And I met with him and some of the other Brownell's folks right at that
event. And there was a guy from NRA there, and he was getting a piece of people's minds, by the way.
Oh yeah.
he was getting chewed out. He was like, dudes, I don't even know what's going on.
I know, right? Well, nobody knew what was going on. And Pete got blindsided by it because, once again, Wayne and Chris didn't consult with the board before they made a public statement about what happened and expressing their support for a bump stock ban. And again, as we see things playing out now in the news with Kamala Harris, one of the 24 or however many presidential candidates on the Democratic side there are, she said if she becomes president, she's going to use executive orders to take away FFL licenses, kill gun stores.
Yeah, and which is what the Trump administration did to put this bump stock thing in effect.
Exactly. She would do it through the exact same process, through the exact same mechanical steps that Trump did to ban bump stocks. She would use that exact same precedent to do exactly what she threatened. And that's why we've been saying all along, it's not about the bump stock. It's what they're doing. No, I don't want the bump stock banned, but in reality, the bump stock shouldn't even exist because the NFA should not exist.
Yeah.
But we weren't arguing just to keep bump stocks. We're fighting what they were doing, which was an end run around our republic, and our representatives had no chance to vote on it. It was by presidential decree that they banned a previously legal accessory and then deprived that property of their owners and didn't even offer just compensation. So there was no due process, and property was seized with no compensation. And a law, which wasn't really a law, was retroactively enforced. So the grandfather clause was crapped on as well. So it was carte blanche. They just basically took the entire Constitution and Bill of Rights and wiped the rear ends with it.
Tossed it out. If we allow that to stand, in America, that is the signaling of the end of the Second Amendment in America. I know that probably sounds crazy to people, like, oh, you guys are just, getting crazy. But if they could literally come in and take a piece of plastic on its own, not attached to a gun, and make that a machine gun, that's the end, people.
It is. because you know what?
They could do anything
Here's the
after
verbiage
that.
they used. So they kind of redefined what the definition of a machine gun was. And now it's just any device that's readily convertible or readily, I think it's readily convertible to fully automatic fire, it's considered a machine gun. And that's how they captured the bump stock, because they're now saying that its rate of fire was a machine gun. Well, guess what that also means? That means Kamala Harris can come into office and say every semi-automatic is readily convertible, and show on video somebody converting illegally a semi-automatic to a machine gun, because any number of people out there know how to do it. It's no secret how you can convert an AK or an AR or a Mini 14 into a machine gun. It's not that difficult. And all they have to do is say, look, the BATF can, in 15 minutes in a Dremel tool, make this semi-automatic into a machine gun. Therefore, they're all readily convertible, and semi-automatics are banned. And it's not a fabrication that's so out there that
you know what it is?
It's
You can,
totally plausible.
Yeah, you can do this through bureaucracy, right? I mean, there's the Second Amendment, and they could say, hey, we're not doing anything to the Second Amendment. This is bureaucracy. These are rules that are set, these are things that are set up here, and you have to go through that. Just like you're saying, the ATF itself shouldn't even be there. Because we have all these things in the way, this is the way that they can kill us with 1,000 paper cuts. And that's
Right.
what we're going up against here. So to move on to what happened. So
hold on, I want to answer this one. So here's a question
Sure.
sticking up on the screen here really quick. So it says military arms. Since when does the ATF get to make laws? Okay, so there's this thing called Chevron deference, I believe is what it's called. I've been talking to our attorneys. In case you don't know, I'm part of a lawsuit that's suing the government over what happened with the bump stocks. And there's this bigger issue of deference where Congress passes a law, and the law is very ambiguous. Most laws are. So the law has a general gist to it. Then it's handed off to a bureaucracy like the BATF or the FAA, the FCC, the EPA, pick any one of the alphabet agencies. The law gets handed off to that agency, and then through Chevron deference, they can do pretty much interpretation of the law. They can read into the law any which way they want to, and there's no bounds set upon how far they can go. If they go too far, the only option we have is to sue in federal courts and try to undo what they've done. So
the only peaceful option.
That's the only peaceful option, which we all should hope for. But
yes.
So it's that deference has been at question now for quite some time in Congress and in the Supreme Court. And this case could very well pull that bigger, broader discussion into the Supreme Court and having them finally make a decision on whether or not these agencies can just make up laws, which is what they're doing. They're taking a basic law, completely twisting it from its original intent, and then imposing it on the American people. Case in point, when 7 and 6 was being banned from import, the two lawmakers that proposed the original armor-piercing handgun ammunition ban back in the 80s or 90s, I forget when that law went into effect, but those congressmen wrote to the ATF and said, hey, ATF director, this is not what we intended to do with the law. The law pertained only to handgun ammunition. We never meant it to apply to rifle ammunition that might be fired out of a pistol. It was only intended for handgun calibers because we already knew rifle ammunition could defeat soft armor. And the BATF, even though they were sent that letter by the lawmakers that proposed and passed that bill, they ignored them completely and banned the importation. That's an example of a bureaucracy abusing their power of deference and making law out of a law that didn't exist, but using an existing law and twisting it to their own outcome.
Mm-hmm. And what the Supreme Court is going to do about it, I saw that you and Eric did a gun gripe about this recently. It's 50-50. I saw you guys talking about that at the end, I mean,
yeah,
we would like to stack the Supreme Court on to our benefit, but we really don't know what they're going to do.
The two Trump appointees are very wishy-washy on their Second Amendment stances. Everybody likes to think that they're not, but probably the most pro-gun justice we had was Scalia, who unfortunately passed away. But even in his final opinion in Heller, he made a gross mistake in saying that reasonable restrictions can be applied to a constitutionally protected right. And that left the door wide open for what is reasonable. And that means every single gun law can be reasonable in the eyes of the court. And the reality is every single gun law is unconstitutional, therefore illegal, because the Second Amendment is the only amendment that says shall not be infringed. Our First Amendment doesn't say that. The Third Amendment doesn't say that. The Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, 14th, none of them say shall not be infringed. The Second Amendment couldn't have been worded any more tersely than our founding fathers worded it, yet it's one of the most crapped on rights.
Did you see that? I'm not trying to distract from this, but when you say that, it reminds me of this. Nancy Pelosi, I think it was like a month ago, I think they were trying to get Trump's tax records. And there was some law she was reading, and she says that, like, when this happens, that this thing, it shall. There's a video clip of this. She says shall, not if, not maybe. This is what she's saying, right? Trying to read a law. And when I saw that, it made me so mad. I was like, okay, how about you go apply this crap that you're saying to the Second Amendment? Because it says shall not be infringed. Right.
Show me the ambiguity.
So I have to go back and find that
in the Second Amendment, right? Point it out for me, because I'm having a hard time finding this ambiguity.
I have to go back and find that clip of her doing that, because I wanted to post it, and then a whole bunch of stuff came up, and I was because she was so adamant about that, right? To get his tax records, which, whatever, that means something to them, doesn't mean anything to me. But we're talking when I wish that these politicians would apply that to the Second Amendment, what they're saying.
I wish they would, but the Second Amendment is the only amendment that it's okay to basically wipe your feet on, because when we went to the Supreme Court for a stay, which is extremely easy to get. I mean, if this was a matter of let's pick another hot button issue, I don't want to delve into personal opinions on, but I just want to use this as an example. Abortion. If there was a movement to ban abortion, if the proponents of abortion went to the Supreme Court and asked for a stay, instantly they would be given a stay until it was litigated in court and a final decision could be ruled.
And if we look at that, that's
not even a constitutionally protected right.
Yeah, but that is essentially murdering your own child in your womb.
I don't want to get into all that.
I know. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, anyone looking at this probably knows where I'm at and where you're at on this.
Yeah, but I try to avoid those types of politics. I mean, I'll talk politics, but I like to keep it based around the Second Amendment, because, look, man, the reality is I talk with a lot of my viewers, and I would say 30%, maybe a little bit more, identify as being Democrat. Just being a Democrat doesn't mean you're anti-gun. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to get into Republican.
There's also people there's also people that believe in choice and all that kind of stuff. And I think I agree with you.
Tony Lauren, you remember Tony Lauren? Yeah. I mean, the blonde chick that's on Fox News. She used to be on The Blaze. She went out there and did an interview and said that she was pro-choice and was fired from The Blaze for it. And she wound up getting into a nasty lawsuit over it. So there's a conservative female. Self-admitted conservative female that's pro-choice. So I don't get into those discussions and
absolutely
and, where I stand on all that or my faith or any of that. I just leave it off the channel. But I just use that as an example. Any other hot button issue taken to the SCOTUS would get an immediate stay, just giving it time to let it run its course through the courts until there's a final determination, especially when there's personal property involved that's several $100s in value, because the government didn't even offer to pay for the devices they were stealing or forcing the destruction of. They just said, after this date, retroactively, if you have possession of them, you are now in possession of an illegal machine gun. You might as well have an M60 belt-fed machine gun in your basement as a bump stock, because they both carry the same weight and penalty under law currently with the BATF's interpretation.
Yeah, it's outrageous. It's outrageous. By the way, let me remind everyone that's in my chat and Mac's chat, please, smash the thumbs up right now. We would appreciate that. We didn't do any promotion of this. We just jumped in here and did it. So if you guys don't mind, like the video and share it or something like that. Let people know in your social media that we're doing this. You can throw up questions and stuff like that here as well. And because we're doing a simultaneous thing, right, Mac?
Yeah, man, that's what's so cool is like we're broadcasting the exact same stream on both our channels at the exact same time. We're testing out this new software, and man, I'm loving it so far. This is really kind of cool. So we don't have to say, okay, let's do a live stream on your channel tonight, and then tomorrow we'll do a stream on mine. We can do the exact same stream on two channels and reach all of our collective audiences.
Yeah, and I know my video's lagging a little bit. I don't think there's anything we could do about that right now, so don't worry about it. As long as you can hear me, that's the thing. And as long as you can see,
your video resolution maybe to 720 or something. I don't know if I bumped it that would help much.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Yours is actually coming in great to me.
Okay, cool.
Could be something on my computer. I'm using like an older Mac computer, so there could be something. No. Yeah, so, I need to upgrade my computer here for sure.
Ricer Boy had an interesting comment. Like, how many people actually turned in their stocks? So I was talking to some local law enforcement authorities, and they got a few phone calls, but they got 0 turn-ins. And from what I hear through sources I have, nationally there was almost no measurable turn-in of those devices. And, there was one company that was selling those stocks right up until, the stroke of midnight. And, and I'm an advocate. I'm not going to tell anybody to go out and break the law. That's not what I'm doing. But what I've always said is I'm actively in support of peaceful non-compliance. If you take a look at the ban they imposed in Connecticut, and nobody complied. And then all the lawmakers we're like, well, what do we do? Nobody's complying with this. We can't arrest millions of people, and they don't know what to do. Look, we're governed by the consent. Our government governs by the consent of the people. And when they don't serve our interests and when they overstep their bounds, that's the whole reason we have a Second Amendment. Look at the Bundy Ranch incident. That's a perfect, shining example of how the Second Amendment was used to protect liberty. And the guys and gals that showed up and stood toe-to-toe with those federal agents and backed them down, they're patriots. And they did exactly what our founding fathers expected of them. And so,
that spirit
I'm for
exists.
Peaceful noncompliance,
Yeah, that spirit exists too. And I was surprised. I was talking to a guy in my local barbershop about this, and I know we're going to get to the Pete Brownell thing in a second. Mac and I, we'll go down rabbit holes. Yeah, we'll go down rabbit holes here, but I think this is interesting. I was talking to someone in my barbershop, which actually happens to be downstairs from my studio now, and it was a black guy my age, but he's into guns, but he's not, doesn't follow it as closely as we do and all that. He was never in the military or law enforcement or anything, but we were talking about this bump stock thing, and he was like, dude, they're going to take that from my cold dead hands. I'm not giving up anything. And I was like, wow, this it's good to see the people out there other than us in America, that there are people who feel this way, and it's definitely not represented in the media. And it may be easy, like we think, okay, we're all talking to guys just like us, preaching to the choir, but there are Americans out there who feel the same way. They just don't necessarily have a voice, but they make those voices heard when they vote. This is what we're seeing happening overseas right now, right? And all the elections going on overseas. Yep. And, we're probably going to see, this is what happened, 3 years ago when we had the elections. We'll probably see it again in the next year or so.
Let's talk about Pete Brownell, and then let's talk about something that came up with regards to that recently in Illinois. Yeah. I thought it would be
so here's the thing with Pete. So about a year ago when this all went down, Pete, he resigned. He was president, right, of the NRA, something like that. Yeah.
So typically he resigned. Served 2 years. Right. So he served 1 year and then refused to serve a second term and stepped down.
Yeah, so he did that. Now, what's the news out there today that I saw before I came in is that he was still on the board, but he resigned.
Had been for a decade.
Yeah, and he resigned that position.
Now,
it says a lot to me. That says a lot, actually.
So read between the lines, right? So the public statement was that Brownell's is about to launch new products, and they're very focused on that. And he's served the board for a decade, and he wants to focus on his business and therefore decided to resign his position on the board. Read between the lines, because what just happened in Indianapolis is that Oliver North, who succeeded him, Oliver North didn't serve a second term. He stepped down and he threatened to make public a bunch of dirty laundry about Wayne Lapierre and his spending issues. He takes millions of dollars of paying members' money and buys lavish things. Trips to Bermuda, $39,000 in suits in 1 month. Insane
over
expenses.
half a million or something like that of expenses. But
And
what
that's where the
happened?
lawsuit
What
comes
happened?
between ACMAC, Ackerman McQueen, their PR agency, which is the devil, as well as the leadership of the NRA being the devil. They're suing each other over those billing, discrepancies, because right now they have the interest of investigators in the state of New York, where their charter is, and the NRA is about to be forcibly disbanded and made to go away by the state of New York. And plus, the IRS is now looking at them, and they're probably going to lose their nonprofit status because of things that Wayne Lapierre and Chris Cox are doing.
Yeah, it's getting worse. Also, Ackerman McQueen officially severed ties.
Oh, have they severed? That's interesting.
Yeah, that was in the news.
To happen because
that was in the news yesterday, I think, or early today. So, and what it's like, first of all, to just talk about like Pete Brownell for a second, obviously this is a business that's been in his family for what, 80 years or something like that now.
Yeah.
But if you ever talk to Pete, you'll see that he's a really down to earth, cool kind of guy. The last time I actually spoke to him, I was at SHOT Show at Media Day. And you know how they like you have to go to these food trucks to get you get like a little ticket. You have to go stand at the food trucks and get food and stuff. And there was this dude that came up to me with a beard and he was like, "What's up, Hank?" And I'm like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And then he goes, "Yeah, I'm Pete Brownell, by the way. I already met him, but I didn't recognize him."
He wasn't wearing a $10,000 Armani suit. He's probably wearing blue jeans and just a regular shirt. That's how I met him the first time. And I was
he just looked like a regular dude. Yeah, he just looked like. And I've met him before and hung out with him and done videos with him and stuff, but I didn't recognize him with the beard. And he got on the line, he got food, and then you know how they have these little tents that we all go to? He came into that tent and he sat down and he was talking to everyone at the table. This is a guy that literally could have had a helicopter land out there and take off, go back into Vegas, have a high price meal, but he's not that kind of guy.
He is not. He is the most humble. I mean, I consider Pete to be a friend of mine. And not just him, Ryan and Roy and Josh, several other people at Brownell's. I mean, these are salt of the earth people, an Iowa-based company. These are, good God-fearing people
us.
that just, really do business the right
they're
way.
Just like us. They get mad. They get mad just like we do about all of this stuff. I don't know if people think that this is something these guys just put on because they're in the gun industry. I know there are people in the gun industry that do that, but it's not these guys.
It's not an act with Brownell's. I love Brownell's as a company. That's because I've met so many other folks. And when I go home, I grew up in Kansas. When I go home, we go through Iowa, and I always stop to say hi to the guys. And, if Pete's there, he'll come out and say hello and meet all my kids again. And, we'll chat with them. I mean, and it's not just me, it's not like they're coming down to meet the big YouTube guy, because I'm not that big of a deal. It's just that's who they are. And anyway, I wanted to answer Tony's question. Can you still own 7 and 6 and shoot it legally? Yes, you can. You can legally own it and shoot it.
So the thing I wanted to say about Pete doing this, I think it's a bellwether. You have to realize that this is a tough. His family's been in this business. Are we seeing?
Somebody's asking how the finger is. So
it looks like Frankenstein.
The other day, and it's good as new, guys. 10 days in, and it's like nothing happened. I mean, it's not even.
Is it serialized? Is the serial number gone?
That was the best comment ever. So when I posted the pictures of the finger being bashed open, somebody made a comment like, "Oh, you need to contact the ATF and let them know you destroyed a machine gun." That's
I saw that actually. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. So the thing here about someone doing something like this, that this has been the family
Apple
business.
Watch, not a Rolex. Go ahead.
Oh, people want to know watches?
Well, now they're asking me, like, nice Rolex, Max. I'm like, Mac. And I'm like, it's an Apple Watch.
Rolex is not making Apple Watches yet, to my knowledge.
And they make
there's mine. I don't know if anyone could see mine if they care about it. I actually have a tag on. So there you go. Tag Heuer. If anyone cares. If they want to know. Yeah.
I'm an Apple junkie, man. Everything's Apple.
Oh. Yeah, I have a lot of Apple stuff, but I like mechanical watches. I like automatic. Watches is just something I'm into. I make videos on my channel about watches.
Oh, dude, I'm a watch guy. Back in my advertising days, I had a Rolex, and I wore it just like a regular watch. But
Yeah,
that was when
it is,
the money to do
and
it.
yeah, it's a cool thing. So the thing is, like, these guys have been not just that Pete served for 10 years, right? This is a thing that's been in the family, the NRA. Lots of families around America. Some of us are just finding out about it. It's something like I got into the NRA 6-7 years ago when I started doing this, and I was like, yeah, let me support the NRA. Lots of us were doing that. We've always been on the fence, but for this company for Pete to decide that he's pulling out, this is showing you that it's going from bad to worse, and it's not going to get any better. I think they've passed the point where they could fix this. What do you think about that?
Here's the thing, and I just wanted to I pointed out one of the comments I caught. Mac, would you ever consider being a consultant on Fox News? Yeah, if they'd ever contact me, but they don't. I mean, I'm just.
You know what though? But I think you're bigger
Rand
than
Paul.
them.
I'm just unelectable. What's that?
No, I think you're bigger than Fox News, man. What are you talking
come on,
about?
Man, don't.
Forget those guys. I'm not just saying that. Yeah. Okay. How many people subscribe to you? 800,000.
Maybe by tomorrow morning I might be at 950,000. I can't break that million
Well,
threshold, man. Everybody breaks that.
We need to get you to a million. Okay, we have
my gold play button. I don't know if I get there.
No, let's start a campaign. Let's start a campaign, man. I want to start a campaign to get Mac to 1 million.
They get the gold play button. I don't even know what to do with the silver one. I think I threw it in the trash. I've been so mad at YouTube for demonetizing us. I mean, it's crazy.
When you get the gold one, blow it up, man. Blow it up.
That's what I ought to do.
It could be done. It could be done, but I want to see you get there.
See if it's proof.
Yeah, I want to see you get there. If people don't know that I started doing this about 6 years ago or something like that. And basically, I went to the bullpup shoot that they had in Kentucky. And I was just a fan of a lot of the guys that everyone follows on here, including you, Mac. You know, my brother and I would look at your videos and call each other up and talk about it and stuff like that. I remember being jealous when you did this thing where these two dudes won a trip to come see you and shoot machine guns with you. And all of that. So I basically saw you and your wife going into the hotel, and Lola was with me, I'm cutting them off fast. So I ambushed you, and I think at that point, man, I had maybe 300 subscribers or something.
This is such a great story because people think that just because you have a following on YouTube that you're a celebrity or something, and you're not. There's internet famous, which is this, and then there's famous. Like celebrities that make movies that can't walk into a restaurant without getting noticed. I don't get noticed. I'm nothing. But anyway, you're
cool to us.
We're right there.
In our circles. Yeah, in our circles, you're cool, man. And I remember cutting you off, and we spoke for hours. Your wife was like, "Forget this," and my wife was like, "Yeah, I'm going to the room." So they went off, and we were still talking. I think you took me to dinner or something like that.
I said, "Hey, man, what are you doing for dinner tonight?" And you and Lola joined us for dinner, and you kept doing the, I can't believe Mac's asking me, talking to me like I'm in third person. I'm like, dude. Stop it, man. I'm just a regular dude. Yeah. And that's how we became friends. But in fact, because of you, I use Instagram. It was that event where you're like, do you use Instagram? I'm like, nah, man, I don't really. I have it on my phone, but I don't really use it.
Yeah. And you had a bunch of followers. You just weren't posting anything.
I had one picture on there of something silly and had 2,000 followers. And you're like, dude, you should use this. And it's because of you I have the Instagram following I have now.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much. I am now going to make a snippet out of that and put it on my phone.
Absolutely, man. That's all.
No, I'm happy.
You turned me on to that, So
yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do for each other, and that's why I would like to see you hit 1 million.
I want to see everybody hit 1 million. I wish we had 10,000 gun channels hit 1 million. A lot of folks.
It's going to be tough in this environment, man, with everything they're doing to us.
Oh, I know. They're squashing us and search results and stuff. I've watched. My subscriptions just dwindled down. They're squashing us in search results and stuff, and they're finding new ways to mess with us. But, people think that, and there are some in our community that don't want to intermingle with other YouTubers. I don't care if you have 200 or 2 million subscribers. I'll do videos with you and cross-promote and hang out because it's not like we're competing for the 7 o'clock time slot, right? People surf the internet. When they're done watching one of my videos, they're going to pop over to one of yours. They're going to pop over here. I mean, that's the beauty of the internet. It's totally different than network television that we're used to.
Yeah.
No, there's no competition here. And
No, there's not. People, it's video on demand. People can look at it when they want to, and then people like whoever people like certain people's style or whatever. So if I'm getting into making gun videos, it's not going to take away from you. I'll tell you a quick story just because you just reminded me of that. But I thought this was really funny. You and I were at SHOT Show. Everyone knows you don't do SHOT Show anymore. So
Nope,
I've been lucky enough to actually hang out with you at SHOT Show. Sorry to all your fans out there. They'll never. But anyway, so I was hanging out with Mac at SHOT Show, and we were going from one side of the floor to another. And you know how that happens. So if I'm hanging out with Mac and we're walking through SHOT Show, we're gonna get stopped all the time. So Mac was getting stopped all the time, and I'm like taking pictures with his fans for him. Can you take a picture? Okay, I'm going in there taking pictures. So when we almost get to where we're going, there's one dude that comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, I want to take a picture with you." So Mac was like, "Oh, okay, I'll take the picture." So the guy's taking a picture with me, and he's like, "Man, I look at all your stuff." I was like, "Cool. Do you ever heard of Military Arms Channel?" He's like, "No, who's that?" I was like, "That's the guy right there taking a picture." He was like, "Oh, I don't know that guy. Is he good?" Awesome. I was like, "Yeah, you should be looking at his channel. What's wrong with you?"
There's a lot of folks, yeah.
Yeah, there's people think that because and that's not to take anything away from you. You're probably one of the most recognizable people doing this kind of thing, and at SHOT Show, incredibly recognizable. But it just goes to show you that you're not. No one's stealing from anyone. The audience out there is making a choice. They're making the choice. You create your content. You do it in your way. People love that. And I do my things my way, and then everyone else out there that's doing this, people make a choice to look at you, and people should never think of it in a selfish way, like someone's sucking the oxygen or something.
No, they shouldn't. And yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think, I want to see all gun channels grow, and that's why, I'll work with any channel. And invite them to be on, my channel. You always have an open invite. If you want to come up this far north, come on up, stay a week, and we'll go film. Usually I'm the one doing the traveling because nobody really wants to come up here because it's either too cold or it's too cold.
Yeah. Not when you show like the range flooded or the range is snowed out.
That's what we're dealing with now. All these folks are like, when's the next video coming? Like everybody wants, I think episode 3 of the BCM, how far will it go before it malfunctions without cleaning videos? And it's like, man, 2 of our 3 ranges are flooded. It's difficult. We have literally one day a week where it may not rain for 2 hours. It's been horrendous this spring, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so tornadoes. We don't really get tornadoes up here. And just 2 nights ago, we had one north of my house touch down, probably about 4 miles north of us. So,
oh, wow. Okay, that's close.
Yeah. I grew up in Kansas, man. We used to get drunk and watch the things go by all the time.
Yeah. So to get back to what we were, because I forgot what we were talking about here, how we segued into this. I know we were talking about everything going on with the NRA. And the whole Ackerman thing. I mean, that's pretty much burning down right now. That's a dumpster fire right now.
That separation is, and Pete resigning from the board.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he wants that to be a political statement. But come on, guys. Oliver North had gotten a coalition of a minority of board members, but enough he felt to possibly be able to force change or at least bring attention to the fact that the NRA is horribly corrupt. Something I've been saying for years, and people kept saying I was off my rocker making things up. But that internal fight went quite public when Oliver North said he wasn't going to seek a second term and dumped all that information at NRAM at their annual meetings on the public. And now it's out there, man. And now this is going to get worse. Now I wonder, just to what do you think's since Ackerman McQueen severed ties with NRA, didn't Ackerman McQueen aren't they the ones that actually own NRA TV or at least running NRA TV? So what happens there? Yeah. So what happens to the people working for them? Okay. Yeah. I mean, like Oliver North was one of their paid online or broadcast personalities, Colleen Noir and all those guys. They all work for Ackerman McQueen, and so I don't know how that's going to play out for them.
That sucks, man. Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm glad that the heat's being put on the NRA because we need the NRA fixed, and I don't want people to misunderstand what my motivations are when I'm actively trying to bring attention to the NRA's misdealings. I'm not trying to burn down or destroy the NRA. My purpose is to force change. I want the NRA and its 5 million members, they claim, to be an effective force fighting for our Second Amendment rights and not compromising, not constantly giving up our rights in exchange for nothing. I mean, a compromise implies two parties get something of equal value from the negotiations. We don't get anything. All we do is keep giving away our rights. And, in 50 years, there'll be nothing left to give. And so the NRA needs to dig in its heels and stop the GOA and the Firearms Policy Coalition, the Second Amendment Foundation, JAFO, the Jews for the Preservation of Gun Ownership. All those organizations are no compromise. The NRA is the only one that's like, hey, man, let's make a deal, man. Let's make a deal with your rights. And that needs to stop. The NRA needs to dig its heels in and fight. They need to be working to put themselves out of a job. And I'm quoting Eric Pratt from GOA, because that's what his mission statement is. He's working to put himself out of a job. He wants that final decision from the Supreme Court that says, hands off, you cannot touch the Second Amendment. And so that's what we need the NRA doing, and that's what I'm advocating for. And the only way we're going to get their attention is to hit them in the pocketbooks, because I'll tell you, the only reason people like Wayne Lapierre and Chris Cox and all the other executives that suck up these, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in salaries and perks and travel expenses, the only thing they care about is the money. The rights are just an excuse to get the money. A lot of the people that advocate for the NRA, if they weren't making those big paychecks, they'd be off doing something else.
Well, that's why I think it's like, that's why I think it's like a pyramid scheme. I mean, there's lots of people, basically what they care about is getting the money from you. And I know people that are lifetime members already, and basically they're still just trying to get money. That's the only time they know me, by the way. I don't have a lifetime thing, so I pay every year, and then so they're always trying to get money from me. That's the only reason that they call or send me an email or anything like that. Yeah, exactly.
I think they call the life members more because the life members pay once and figure they don't have to pay anymore ever. And I'm not going to do a life membership with the GOA. I pay them every month. They don't pay me jack. I get nothing. And if you don't believe me, call up the GOA and ask them how much they pay the Military Arms Channel, and they'll tell you nothing.
No, they don't. No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing for us.
When we sat across the table from everybody else in the room, and I don't want to mention names or point fingers, but when me and Eric looked at them and said, "We don't want your money," they looked at us like, "Huh?" They want you to take the money. It's kind of like the mafia. You take the money, they own you.
They got you. They got you.
I don't want the money. I'm in it for the fight for our rights.
Yeah, that's what we want them to do.
I don't need to make a living doing that. And that's true of most of the people that work there. They could do the same thing. I don't want to profit from activism. If you're doing that, you're in it for the wrong reasons. So, and that's not to say that people don't deserve a paycheck, that's their sole purpose. Like, somebody that's answering the phones at NRA HQ and stuff like that. I'm not talking about them. Right. So most of these people, like Wayne Lapierre, is a millionaire multiple times over. He could take $100,000 a year salary and a bonus every year if he was really doing good, versus the millions he sucks out of the organization and then all the expense reports he files for millions more. That's not a good use of due-paying members' money at all. But I don't want to turn this into that's NRA ripfest, man.
No. By the way, Armament and Axes gave us a couple of bucks. He says you and Tim at creators.us, creatorsummit.us in September, ? So I think Armament and Axes and the Tyven Show have like a they have something called Creator Summit that's basically like a get together, and they're having it in September. So that's,
I'm just seeing the super chats. I'm sorry, guys. This is a new system for me, and so I want to put the super chats up. I'm sorry I'm missing them. So
you want to go ahead and call out some of those?
Yeah. So Tim Taylor, he $10. Thank you so much, brother. And I put his post down there. I've been a subscriber and a Patreon supporter. It's right behind another window here. I think it's one of your posts.
Thanks to all the people that support us on Patreon.
For us, keep up the good work, brother. No, thank you, brother, for the support, because literally we're 100% viewer supported. We take no industry money, and if it wasn't for our Patreon supporters, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So thank you. And the reason we're doing that isn't because we're trying to be better than the other channels. It's just something that I actually saw the In-Range TV guys try, and it all started with the demonetization. When that hit us hard, I mean, they took 70-80% of our revenue away. And I had just gotten laid off from my advertising job, and I sold my hot rod, and I sold a bunch of stuff and got lean, and I was relying on that money. And then when they cut us off, I panicked. And so and we had just started the gun store, which, we got borrowed money to start the gun store. So I was in debt to my eyeballs, and I had no income at that point. And I was like, oh boy, what do we do? And I just made a Patreon account and set it in video a couple of times. And you guys stepped in and made it possible for us to move forward. So we said, from this day forward, if you like what we're doing and you support us through Patreon, then we won't take any money from the industry. We'll rely on your support. And then you don't have to worry whether or not if, SIG's paying me to say that their gun's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's not an issue because, we're not taking money from SIG.
Yeah.
So, and that's just a different tack. And we learned it from the in-range TV guys. I saw the success that they had. And, thankfully it's worked out well for us so far.
Yeah, I'm glad that's worked out for you. And I know that sometimes that's a little bit of contention. I don't know, like in the inner circles maybe of what we're doing. Like maybe people are confused out there. Right now on my channel, there's a Walther lower third right below you. So the podcast is sponsored by companies. I always disclose that.
And there's nothing wrong with that,
Walther
man.
Arms, for example. Yeah, they do that. But we have like a combination. There's some people that support us on Patreon. There's some people that come in here to the podcast and give money to us in the super chat. There are people that we do like affiliate stuff. So that means we put up links for things. And if you go through that and buy something that you want, a little bit of that comes to us. I think that just like we were talking about in the industry here, there could be multiple things going on. I think there's multiple ways that people can do this as long as they're having some kind of conversation with their audience about it. What do you think about that? I mean, do you think everyone has to do it the way you're doing it?
So I really get upset about the whole shilling thing, and I think it gets taken way, way out of context. So here's the way I look at it. So what we do for a living is provide entertainment. And let's just be honest with everybody. That's what we do. We're entertainers, right? We talk about something that you're not going to see on broadcast television. The stuff that we cover and the way we cover it, you're never going to find that on a cable news network.
Yeah.
Or cable network.
Where are you going to see two old guys trying to figure out how to go live at the same time? That's got to be entertaining.
Right? So
look at these idiots.
And we do it professionally. Yeah. I mean, every day, 7 days a week, except for Sundays now, I take that for a family day. And for 10 years, I didn't. That's just something I started doing. We work until midnight, and people think that what we do is just all fun and games. No, the shooting is this much of what we do, and it's very much a real job. And it's no different than getting mad at somebody when you go watch the latest John Wick movie and you get mad at Keanu Reeves for making money for making movies and saying what he does isn't real work. It is work, and he does deserve to be paid for it because he spends a lot of time doing it, and he's darn good at what he does. And so, when people say oops, I hit my own microphone there. I'm just still getting used to this setup here. I like to wave my hands around a lot. When I talk with my hands.
That's all right.
But, the whole shilling thing is really gone overboard. And it's just a reason for trolls to glob onto something to just, troll you for. Because like what you said, you openly say, and our sponsors are, and there's nothing wrong with that. If I didn't have Patreon, I'd have to do the same thing, right? And so there's absolutely nothing wrong with somebody, as long as they're forthcoming with the audience, saying, hey guys, and like people send us like guns and stuff to feature on the channel. I always say, this is who sent us this. Or this is something out of my collection. This is something Jason owns. This is something Copper had that I'm using, like the Barrett 50. We always tell you where it comes from. But and that type of transparency is all that you can ask for, and that's not shilling. So
you know what would happen? Like, let's say if you have a family that you have to take care of. For some reason, you keep kicking out those boys. Awesome, that's a blessing. But if you had to go get a job, like a job in any other industry, we're not going to see this content as often. We're going to see it when you're able to. You'll have that job, you'll have the family, and you'll have to do these things. And I think, I know that we'll all suffer for that. So yeah, I think if there's folks out there that on a regular basis are creating content and entertainment and information, I don't want to say this is all like this is not all documentary stuff or whatever. I think there's always a little bit of WWF about everything, and people should just, a little grain of salt to what they're doing. I'm never encouraging anyone to buy anything.
Yeah, and I always tell people, like, don't buy something just because I like it, and never, ever, ever sell something because I don't like it. That's keep in mind what we're doing is for entertainment purposes only. Am I sharing an honest opinion? Yes, I am. But I'm one guy with one gun. So like I've had
and all kinds of
two bad
variables can happen to them.
P365s, but there's 10 guys out there for every one of me that says theirs works fine, right? I'll never
you
carry
have bad
one.
luck with a lot of stuff, man.
Right. So
I think you have some kind of, you got gremlins.
Oh man, I hate it. There's like we shot a video on the Mossberg MC1, and I mean I'm having problems with it. So I post an Instagram post like, who owns these and who likes their gun, and overwhelmingly people say the thing works fine. And one of the guys,
we've got two,
and do they work good?
Yeah.
See, mine won't go into battery, and it has all sorts of issues. And I've tried it with multiple types of ammunition. One of its factory magazines causes the gun to seize up, and it's just.
I know what you need. Actually.
But anyway, I'm going to
to
shoot it some more. I don't like the first video because it bothers me, and I want to make a video saying, look, guys, I don't like making videos that are negative. There are some YouTubers out there that won't post a negative video for whatever the reason may be. Me, I post it. If I get a hold of something and it's bad, I post it. If it's good, I post it. If there's something that doesn't work, like the Remington R51, which I thought was a danger to society, the gun was dangerous because it fired out a battery, I had to post the video. And I thought for sure Remington was going to sue me or something, And I don't get a kick out of it. It's not what I thrive on. And it just seems like I have the worst luck in the world. But I also post every single thing that I encounter, good or bad. And 99.9% of the time, the stuff that I'm showing you is something I got through the distribution or dealer network, which is just industry words for I bought it from a gun dealer myself. I ordered it through a distributor who got it from the manufacturer.
Right.
I got it just like you do. When you go into a gun store and buy something, you're getting it through the distribution network. So when I say that, almost all the guns I get that way. So I know they're not cherry picked. Because I can guarantee you when a manufacturer contacts you and says, hey, Mac, you want to do a video on our gun? We'll send you one. We'll send you a T&E gun. There's a good chance that they fired it a little bit extra, a few times to make sure that that one they're sending you is going to work because they know darn well if it doesn't, you're going to post the video. And so I sidestep that by trying to get as many of the guns I feature through the same channels that our viewers would get. And I guess I just have bad luck. And when the MC1 and overwhelmingly people were saying theirs works fine. You're telling me you have two that work fine and mine doesn't. It's like people are going to think if I'm going to post the video eventually, I'm going to show the problems. I'm going to shoot it some more. I only have about 400 rounds through it, and it seems like the problems are getting a little bit better. But even then, I don't believe a defensive carry gun should have a break-in period. It's not a complex machine. It most has 40.
No, I don't think it should. It shouldn't. It should not. It should be. You should be able to take it out of the box. You shouldn't have to do anything special when you take it out of the box to it. You know what? You need an exorcism, man. We need a gun. What do we need? A preacher? We need a gun preacher, to come in and exorcise you of the demons.
One of the super chats was a good question. So what I think about what's going on with Texas trying to take suppressors off the registry. So we're seeing a lot of states. Now, first of all, I'm a huge advocate for states' rights. I think the states should take back the power from the federal government that was usurped from them starting at the end of the Civil War to present. So right after the Civil War ended, the federal government wanted to make sure that they had absolute control over the states. So they made a federal army. They, basically took control of everything right down to the speed limit. And the states lost their autonomy. And we really need the states being autonomous because if you don't like the politics of California or Illinois, you can move to another state that has lower taxes or better schools or whatever, better roadways that like in my state, we always have a budget. We're usually running at a budget surplus where Illinois is running at a deficit endlessly because of their social programs, and they just keep raising taxes. Over here, we balance our budget, and our taxes don't keep going up except for property taxes, which irks us, but that's a whole different discussion. But that's what states are supposed to be able to do. So if a state says, we're going to take silencers and because remember, the NFA works off the Commerce Clause. And so that means that if you manufacture it and move it across state lines, that's the only way the federal government can intervene constitutionally. So if you manufacture something like a machine gun or suppressor in the state of Indiana, where I happen to reside, and I never sell it or transport it out of the state, or I should say, try to sell it to somebody outside of the state, there is no interstate commerce, and thus there's no way the federal government should be able to regulate it.
Yeah,
so when
they can't regulate, right?
When the states say we're going to take suppressors and you're going to be able to make them, and if federal agents try to enforce that law, we're not going to let them do that. I'm all for it. So states, take your rights back. And that's why I say don't just focus on federal elections. Focus on those state elections because they're absolutely critical, man.
Yeah, every election, your local sheriff counts. All of that stuff, it counts. The dog catcher, everything counts there. Someone is asking me, and I don't necessarily want to. Okay, actually, I'll put the question here, but I think this is a tough question for Mac or myself to answer. It says, why do you think Adam Kraut put an end to the NRA meeting to get rid of Wayne Lapierre? I wasn't there, Mac wasn't there, so I don't know if you heard anything about this, but I know that the people who I did hear from, there's a lot of rumors going on out there about what happened in that meeting. If you weren't there, then you don't necessarily know exactly what happened.
That was news to me, so I didn't go to the NRA show. I went down to meet with some of my Patreons, and I went down to do the TGC, the Gun Collective panel, and then I left. I brought my wife and my oldest son, and my oldest son wants to take a more active role in the channel, so you'll start seeing him. He's showing up on Instagram, and we'll start showing up on YouTube here a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we went down just to meet with fans and viewers, and I wanted nothing to do with the NRA show because I'm not going to bring attention to them. And then, the bomb went off. But Adam was on the panel, and he told me about this members meeting that they have that isn't publicized, and I was totally unaware of it. Next year, I'm going to it because that's where you can stand up as a member, and I'm a life member, and ask hard questions. And I don't know what went down at that meeting. I'll know next year because I'll be at it.
Yeah, we'll have to get some people. What's the name of? I forgot. Oh man, his name is. Yeah, Pincus was at this meeting. We were trying to get him to come on the podcast to talk about it because he was there. There was a kerfuffle. I can't tell you, and I don't think Matt can tell you what happened.
Nope.
But I think that the rumors that are out there about it, I would not take those for canon, or don't listen to all of that stuff.
So
that's what I would say to you guys about that.
One of my commenters says, if Tim doesn't run the Steyr M9A1 through the gauntlet test, I may have to. So I have two M9s, and both of them won't pass the air test. They're unreliable handguns. And I have video that I shared with my Patreons. I'm not going to make it public because the trolls will just go crazy with it. But the gun fires without me pulling the trigger. You can hear the gun go click. You can hear the striker fall. And I wait a second. I go to clear the gun as I'm pulling the slide to the rear. And my finger is off the trigger. I go to pull the slide to the rear. And just as I start to pull on the slide, bam, the gun goes off. Get online, Google it. And guess what? They had a recall for the gun firing without the trigger being pulled. And it was a voluntary recall. And they said in the recall that even though they hadn't had any recorded or any incidents reported where it actually did fire without the trigger being pulled, they still wanted to have the voluntary recall. I caught it happening on video. So I'm not going to do much more at the Steyrs because the guns are freaking unsafe and unreliable. Yeah. The two I have simply won't run right. So.
Yeah, just a follow-up here. Texas Gun says Gun Channels had a live stream at the members meeting. I haven't seen it. And I'm not saying I don't believe what anyone is saying. I think even if there was video there, it's going to be very tough to decipher what happens in a meeting of that nature. From what this is me hearing people talking about it, that everyone's talking at the same time. The NRA is trying to squash stuff, and you've got different people. I heard Pincus had to jump up on something, and
I saw a picture of standing on a table or something.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I'm saying it will be tough for Mac and myself to talk about this if we haven't seen anything. And my knowledge of Adam Kraut and Pincus, I don't think that these guys are trying to help the NRA in any way.
No, so Adam definitely is for reform. There's been some people out there that, like Yankee Marshall and stuff, that come down hard on him and question his motives. I know Adam personally, and Adam is a very strong advocate for the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
There's no ulterior motives there that I'm aware of, or I would believe. I know him. Yeah. I've met him, hung out with them plenty, spent many hours with them. And
same here.
I'd have
also,
him on board than Tom Selleck, who doesn't do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I voted for him and all that kind of stuff. I could tell you that I know Walter doesn't want to talk about it. This is something we've discussed a little bit here. So Walter from Safety Harbor Firearms, they make a 50 BMG upper that goes on an AR-15 lower. Yeah. And it's bolt action. They've been doing that for a long time. The ATF recently said that they have to serialize that upper.
Yeah. So, right. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And that's just out of the blue.
Yeah. And Walter was actually fighting it and using the same law firm that Adam works with. And Adam was there helping out and all that stuff. So I'm just trying to say that, it's safe to say that Adam is for the Second Amendment and he's on our side and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But we're all fighting this stuff, and it's really difficult. I mean, like Mac was saying earlier, the Supreme Court should have put a stop to what's going on with the bump stock ban, and they didn't. Walter fought that to the ATF, and they came back and said, no, we're not changing. We're not coming off of that.
They don't have to.
So who knows? That's gonna spread. If they can say that, there's a whole bunch of things that's gonna spread to that we're not even realizing it right now. I was actually trying to encourage him to fight it, but it's expensive at the end of the day, and he's small. Yeah, he's a small mom and pop company, and for something like 7 months, he wasn't even producing those things, and that's 2/3 of his business. So I think he's producing them now, and he's serializing them just because it's like, hey, people want these things, and I need to sell them. So this is the craziness that we're facing here.
I agree.
And then that whole thing that happened with the NRA, I think ultimately people need to realize, as Max said already, Wayne Lapierre, they've got this thing in lockdown. They've got it in lockdown. They got rid of, Oliver North tried to do something. They ousted him.
Yep, they did. Well, Ollie just said, hey, man, if Wayne, if you don't step down, I'm going to publish all this dirt on you and make it all public. And then Wayne came out and said he was being blackmailed, I think is the word he used, either extortion or blackmailed. And no. If you're doing corrupt things and somebody exposes you, that's whistleblowing.
Yeah.
So,
that was so ridiculous. By the way, Richard Hughes gave us $5. He says, I'm mad at Tim. I'm a non-mustached lefty. Shooting the AUG left me with cuts on my lip.
So everybody goes back to that GIF, that animated GIF that somebody made. And they said 0 F's given, and it shows me firing the AUG left-handed, and the brass keeps bouncing off my face. And
do you have any guns?
But anyway, I had a couple of guys asking, what do you guys think about the Kettler versus USA? I mean, that's awesome. That's another case I hope goes to the Supreme Court. That's a video in and of itself. It says we need to be fighting the politicians in D.C. and not playing political games amongst ourselves. That's something I think is really important, is that, look, I'm friends with Hickok 45. I'm friends with Colion Noir. I'm friends with a lot of people that get a lot of flack because either they still support the NRA, like Such. I'm still friends with him. Look, we can disagree. We don't all have to toe the exact same line. All these guys are very pro Second Amendment. Just because they support the NRA doesn't make them the enemy. I'm an NRA member. If being an NRA member makes you the enemy, then I'm the enemy. It's just that we have different views, and some of them may not want to accept the corruption that we were talking about. Now it's kind of hard for them to deny it, but still it doesn't mean they don't want to support the NRA and fix the NRA. So I think we should worry less about trying to tear each other down because we don't have the exact same ideals as the YouTuber next to us. I think we need to focus our attention on these politicians, because if we're constantly bickering amongst ourselves and we don't show solidarity, we're going to lose the fight. And so I'm not going to turn my back on my fellow YouTubers unless they come right out and say they're anti-gun. I'm just not. I'm going to try to change their minds, and that's what we need to do. If a friend at the shooting range, doesn't think machine guns should be legal, you don't just say screw you, I'm never talking to you again.
You're an idiot.
Take
that's
him to
crazy.
dinner, and you let him shoot a machine gun, right? And say, hey, you try to convince them. If we alienate everybody that doesn't think exactly like we do, we're going to get nowhere fast.
Yeah, that's not freedom. That's not freedom. Obviously a lot of us are men, there are women involved in this too. A lot of us tend to be either, actual alphas or variants thereof. So yeah, we're not always going to agree on things, but we should be civil as possible to each other. I think that's
Absolutely.
that's just
Interesting
that's just
comment.
common decency. Yeah.
So here's one. Tim, why do you dislike the unnamed firearms manufacturer? I believe they're talking about Springfield Armory, because Springfield Armory tried to pull a fast one on Illinois gun owners and FFLs, and they used their lobbyist to make a deal that basically would have screwed over gun owners and small FFLs to their benefit. And they got caught red-handed by TTAG in their investigative reporting. And they had to, the Reeve family, I forget the name of the
gentleman that was the
lobbyist. The head
Reeves.
He made a video and talked about how he's been building guns ever since he was a kid in his dad's shop and all this stuff, trying to say he's sorry. The reason I got mad at them is because they basically were trading the rights of Illinois citizens in exchange to protect their own profits, and that really angered me. So
yeah, no backdoor.
1911s. I love their 1911s.
Yeah.
I'm just mad at the company.
Yeah, no backroom deals. That's one of the reasons that we're mad with the NRA. No backroom deals. Let me this is like a little probably off-topic comment, but I'm going to make it anyway. Sick and Insane says, hey, Hank, when's your escape from Tarkov stream with Devil Dog? Shout out to Devil Dog. You probably don't know who that is, Mac.
No.
But he's big on Twitch, which I hear that you're on Twitch now. I'm following you on Twitch, by the way.
Yeah, man. I'm going to start with the new software. I can stream to Twitch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so Devil Dog is really big on there. I think he's got like 400,000 people following him on Twitch. Yeah, and he was a Marine. He was a Marine like you, just a little younger.
He still is.
Yeah, is
he may
a
not wear the
Marine.
uniform
Yes,
anymore, but once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yeah.
It's a title you
He's
earn
a good
and you
guy.
keep. So
yeah, he's a good guy. I need to put you guys together somehow.
Glock Shooter, I missed your question, brother. I'm sorry that the chat's streaming by, man. I didn't purposely blow you off, brother.
Yeah. By the way, I got 2 thumbs downs. Thank you very much.
I got 7, man.
Appreciate it.
So
I want more thumbs downs than Mac. Please.
Do you have something that's new and exciting to you? So I want to talk about something that totally took me off guard. Okay. I didn't think I was going to to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the weapon's empty here. That's another thing. People get on to me in the comment section like, quit calling that a weapon. You're just giving the anti-gunners something to cling on to. It's like, it is a weapon. Okay. So, I mean, I was trained to call it a weapon and not a gun. A gun is, something that you fire Volkswagen bugs at other naval ships with. But anyway,
I see. I get it.
One of the weapons that just came out, I really didn't think I'd care much for, was the Rex Delta. And when I saw pictures of this little guy, it looked ginormous because there's nothing really to reference it to. It just looks big. Look how thick that trigger is and stuff. And I thought, great, they're getting in the striker fired game, and this thing's going to be goofy.
Yeah. It looks like the Maxim 9 without the suppressor. That trigger, that's on the Maxim 9.
Oh yeah, it does. It does look like a Maxim 9, doesn't it? But this little guy really surprised me. So I hated the backstrap it came with. I put a different backstrap on it because it comes with other ones. And I just love the way this little gun shoots. It's a little lightweight. I mean, it's stupid lightweight, like 22 ounces. And it's a very small handgun, holds 15 rounds. And I was really surprised by it. We got it into Copper Custom. No, they didn't send it to me for T&E. And I really kind of like it for the price point. It's really nice. And then the guys over at A&R Design made a holster for it. I mean, they make holsters for everything right out of the gate. So there you go. I don't carry.
So what does this gun, how much is this, what does this Delta cost?
Are you going to make me Google it, man? Because I forget.
Okay. Old, all right. Dude. Yeah. No worries.
I had to take my
know
nighttime meds just a second ago.
Yeah. I'll give a quick shout out while you're doing that.
$350. I want to say it's like $350.
$350? Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Shout out to Greg Pruitt. Second Amendment. He's a Second Amendment advocate out there, I think in Ohio. He says, got a new channel to teach more activists on other freedom issues, Title of Liberty Enterprises. So he just wanted a shout out for that. So there you go. Shout out to Gun Doctor TV. I see as well here. We got a whole bunch of people in here. I've got 4 thumbs downs and Mac has 7. So everyone out there,
I got 8.
Oh, you got, okay, please give me as many. I need to beat Mac in thumbs downs. We're going to
here's what's funny is like the guys that, I have people that subscribe to me just so the second my video releases, they can dislike the video. Yes. What they don't understand is it still pushes me up in the rankings. So I don't care if they dislike it or what. Yeah, they're still helping me. They do more damage by not doing anything.
Yeah, but this is just an exercise. It's like the fidget spinner, or it's like, when you're at the crosswalk and you think that little button on the side of that, so that you can cross. You think that button, if you push it, is actually affecting the traffic lights. It's not. So, but I just want to beat you in thumbs down. So please, I think I need like 20 thumbs downs. Mac, what did you say? You're at 8, 9?
I'm up to 11 now.
Oh man, come on, guys.
I'm gonna win, dude.
Get with the
I'm totally
program
gonna win
here. I'm only at 4. I'm only at 4 thumbs down. Please. I need like extra 20 thumbs downs so that we could do this. Shout out to everyone. If you have any questions for Mac, I don't know how. Okay, I'm at 7. Come on, man.
I'm holding steady at 11.
You're at 11. Okay, you guys could do better. Don't let me go down like this. Yeah.
Well, there's
Okay,
an
I'm
Ingo
at 8.
shoot next week. I
Yeah.
kind of lost touch with the Ingo guys when Mike sold the company and the board.
Mhm.
The new guys kind of like kicked me out of my little special area and stuff, and it's kind of I don't hang out much on the discussion forums anymore because
Mhm.
Ingo's not bad. I got along great with the guys on Ingo. It's just I don't have time anymore. And then the big boards like AR15.com and stuff. It's just I get trolled so much over there. It's just that, and they finally banned me because I supported the GOA and not the NRA, and Beekeeper banned me because I was talking badly about the NRA on the AR15.com.
Oh man, the forums. So, yeah. By the way, I'm at 21, so I hope I'm beating you now. What's your number?
I'm at 32. So.
Oh, okay, let me do a quick.
This is a super chat from Glock Shooter 79. Okay, I missed it the first time. If you ever want to do a video with a small channel, let me know. I'm a big AK and Milsurp guy. Could bring a couple Patriot or pre-banned Chinese AKs in Michigan, not too far away. Absolutely, guys. Or reach out to me through Copper. Just give a phone call and then ask for Jason, the camera guy, and we'll absolutely set something up. You're in Michigan. We have a lot of family up there, and I'd love to have you down. And I love promoting smaller channels, try to get you guys out there, because I wish all gun channels had at least 500,000 subscribers, because the more gun channels out there with larger followings means we're going to be a whole lot harder to deplatform.
Yeah. By the way, I try to do the same thing here for people. If you want to come on the podcast or something like that, get in touch with us. We'll figure out how to get people on the podcast. And the same thing, I'm usually open to people coming and shoot it with me. Sometimes it goes bad in terms of, I try to help people, but sometimes it doesn't go so well. But that should never stop you from trying to help folks out. Brian Quick gave us a couple of bucks. He says, ask, how's Tim liking his G43X? That's his question.
And I was coming back from Eric's place, and there's always this little gun shop down in Lafayette, Indiana we stop at called Four Guns. And I asked him, I said, hey, guys, we at Copper can't get any extra 10-round magazines. Can you guys get me some? And they said, yeah, we'll try to get some for you. Well, when I came back through, they were holding on to some for me. And so I actually got some extra magazines so I can start practicing with the thing, because I hate not having spare magazines at 10 rounds. And so now I have like 5 or 6 magazines. I love the G43X. I made fun of it at first in the pictures. I'm like, gee, Glock, great. You extended the grip and made it less concealable. Awesome job. Yeah. But man, they made it more ergonomic. It fits my hand, and it's just the right sized gun. 11 rounds with one in the pipe. And then there's this company that claims that they got a magazine modification that they haven't really shared with the world. They're just throwing out a few videos here and there that will take the Glock 43X's standard grip, and they have a magazine for it. They'll let it hold 15 rounds.
Really?
So they're using a flat spring or something in there, but they said that they're not going to send them out to any YouTubers for T&E. And I said, I don't want freebies. I'll buy 5 of them from you to test, but I've not gotten a response from them. So.
Oh, okay. If anyone knows anyone there.
Magazine that works, because the Mag Guts magazines have been garbage in my experience. If they have one that works, count me in. I'll carry the darn thing. 15 rounds in that little thing. Shoots awesome too.
Yeah, we have to get rid of the Glock 43 then. I've got the 43.
The 43X is infinitely better, I think.
It's infinitely better? Okay. All right. Let's see. Screaming Skull Saloon gave us $1 just to shout him out. Okay, so thanks there. We should probably wrap this up. So if anyone has any final things, Mac, did you have a gun that you wanted to show? I can't.
Did I?
I can't be on with you without having like some kind of bullpup. So.
Oh, the FS2000.
Yeah.
Man, I love the FS2000.
Yeah, FS2000.
That's one gun I miss from import.
Yeah, so, I added this to my collection. Actually, about a year ago. I've never shot this one, but people, like my friends, come over and borrow it to shoot it.
I love the thing. I have the one with the integrated 1.5 power optic, and then and then I have the tactical like you have there. So everybody saw my video, I hope, on the Aimpoint Acro, and I said it's the wave of the future, and all we really need to do now is miniaturize it. And I'm going to go ahead and show that the weapon's empty. This is a little Glock 19. It's empty. All right. So anyway, pull the trigger, no bang. But look at the red dot sight on there, Hank.
Okay, I'm waiting for it to. You've got that that focus thing on, so I'm waiting for it to adjust focus.
Really? Because it's crystal clear on my end.
That's really? Okay, there we go.
It's a doctor sight, and
okay,
it's completely contained like the Acro.
Yeah, very low profile.
Tiny, and it's made for the Glock MOS, so it just sets. It doesn't require an adapter.
Oh, nice.
And we're going to be talking about this soon. I already screwed this one up. What I'm going to say is the windage elevation or windage adjustment screws are wonky and not hard enough. I'll point that out in the video. I broke this one. I'm waiting for a replacement. But other than that, if this thing holds up and Aimpoint or Trijicon can make a sight like this, there is the future. You're looking at it for red dot sights.
So what does this cost? What's the price point on that?
Optics Planet sent it over to me because I found it on their website, and I want to say it's like $413. And I promptly broke it, so I couldn't zero it because it's weird. The rear sight adjusts like an FAL, and had I read the instructions, I probably wouldn't have broken it. But
okay, so you broke it adjusting it. You didn't break it using it, right?
I was using it, and I was trying to adjust the sights, and I was being a dumb ape with tools, and I totally broke it. But the screws strip out way too easy on the thing. I wasn't like cranking on it. I just snugging them, and then it just So anyway.
Okay. But you like the low profileness of it, and so you're a red dot guy now when it comes to guns. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, you know what? I kind of said a few times that red dot sights on rifles totally changed the way we use rifles, right? So if you're not using a red dot, you're using some sort of a magnification optic. I think 1 to 4 power, 1 to 6, 1 to 8s. They're just too big and clunky. If I put a red dot sight on a rifle, I've demonstrated in video. I was using the X95, which everybody derided as being inaccurate, and I sat an IPSC kill zone steel target at 200 yards away, and I sat there cross-legged, fired 30 rounds with a red dot sight, and hit 30 shots for 30 shots fired. And I'm like, how much accuracy do you need? So with a red dot sight, I can hit targets from 100 yards to 300 yards center of mass just by holding over a little bit at 300 and dead holding at 100. And what else do I need? I'm not really going to. I can't see myself getting.
It's always what distance are you fighting?
Yards. So red dots.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think red dots revolutionized how we use rifles for defense, and I think red dots on handguns are going to do the same thing. It's going to. I mean, iron sights are eventually going to be backups, but I know guys now that build primary defensive rifles, and they don't even bother putting iron sights on them because you get sights like aim points. You're more likely to be struck by lightning twice than having an aim point fail. So there's some guys that I see now. I personally want iron sights, and I'm an old guy, but there are some folks out there that don't want the way the iron sights, and you'll notice they're getting more and more minimalistic because they're truly becoming backup sights in case the red dot fails.
Yeah, I like on the X95 and the Tavor how it just folds down.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah, that would be cool. Okay, so Jack Lee gave me $5. He says, how can you operator charge the gun off that tiny sight? Did you test that, Mac?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The operator, how can you operator charge it? I guess that's when you do it off your belt, your belt, you can off your pants.
It's got a right angle to it, man. There's plenty of meat there to jack it.
Yeah.
So there's one other thing that I'll show you. It's called a Seal sight, and I've had a lot of questions about it, so I had to go get one off Amazon. It was like $100. But this and that's
is a bigger
weird optic. Yes, the weapon is safe. You guys can see that it's safe. I'm going to go ahead and dry fire it there, so the striker's down.
Now that's a whole lot bigger.
See it working there. I don't know.
These have been out for a while. These have been out for a while, right? Or
yeah, they've been out for a little while. But I mean, look at that. That's just open to debris and gunk. If you drop this thing on the ground and pick it up, there's a good chance you're not going to be able to see through it anymore. Maybe for competition shooting or something. So I'm going to add this into a video because I had so many questions about it. But I don't think it's anything practical for. It's very easy to install. It just dovetails right in there, and you tighten it down with the screw. But I don't think it's very practical at all.
Yeah, and here's a question from Lola. Lola wants to know if you've got any news on the Hudson H9. Obviously that whole thing kind of blew up.
Last I heard, they're out of business. I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening there. It's unfortunate. I hate seeing a small company fail. But I mean, the gun was expensive. Its recoil system was just different. It really didn't bring anything to market in terms of improvements. And all it did was limit your accessories. If you're going to put a light on it, it's going to be kind of awkward. You know, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
too bad. It's too bad to see that. You know, and I know that there's lots of
300
people that,
yards with a red dot on a rifle, not a pistol, man. Somebody said 300 yards with a red
yeah,
dot. Show me. I will show you with a rifle. It's really easy. Handgun, not
yeah,
so
I've done.
much.
Yeah, I've
I'm not
done it.
Jerry Mitchell.
The juice says hashtag plenty of meat to jacket.
I tried to
He
jack the
says,
barrel on a Barrett and it didn't work so well for me. Don't do that.
yeah, yeah, that's a double entendre right there. That's a double entendre. Yeah, it's too bad to see that. And I know there were some guys. There were lots of people. So everyone who sent in guns to Hudson to get them fixed, those guns went into limbo.
Yeah, I
So
guess they're
those
not getting
guns
their
got
stuff
broke.
back.
No, they're not.
One guy
They're in
said
pieces.
Hudson 9 went to hell because of bad QC. The one I got has none of the upgrades, and mine runs okay, but I'm afraid to shoot it because it's going to be a collector's item now, unfortunately. And yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and you can still get them out there. I think
yeah.
there's people selling them for like around 800. And then I think KE Arms. This is what I've heard. KE Arms was manufacturing some of these parts for them.
Mhm.
So they got stuck. They never got paid for those parts. So they have them, but I think they want to sell them in bulk to someone. So who knows what's going to come out of that?
Yeah.
I say if yours is working good, like Matt just said, if you enjoyed shooting it, good for you. But you know, maybe you just sit on it and see what happens because it's definitely going to become a collector's thing. But you know,
the comments coming in. I mean, we can get off here if you want to, Hank. But there's some really cool comments. So one guy says he'd give a kidney for the Lago Arms alien. So funny story. I was at Iwa in Germany, and I wrote the gun off. I mean, it's like a $6,000 handgun. Like who's that? But that's for the first run. They're going to try to mass produce them and bring the price down. And that I understand. But I was blown away by the design. It's truly innovative. Truly innovative. $6,000 innovative? Not for me. You know, if I could get one for $1,500, I'd bite the bullet.
Okay.
But the thing is, oh my gosh, man, it is so well thought out. So I'm sitting there at the booth at Iwa in Germany, you know, talking to them about the alien pistol, and it dawns on me. They pronounce it John, but it's spelled Jan. John Largo was there, and Lago. And if you remember the first CZ Scorpions, because I have one of the early ones, it says, you know, designed by Lago Arms.
Oh, okay.
That's the designer of the CZ Scorpion Evo. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he wanted to take a picture of me because he was like a big fan of, you know, the channel. And I said, dude, I want to take a picture with you because I love the Scorpion, you know. So I was blown away. So he's involved with the alien pistol design. And now it makes a lot more sense to me because the gun is truly unorthodox, does things completely differently than anything I've seen on the commercial market in my lifetime. And hopefully they can get that price down because, I would give up a kidney. Maybe I shouldn't at my age, but I would probably do one of those.
Yeah. You know, now you're just skipping over the part that you went to basically the SHOT Show of Germany.
Yeah.
How about you have a contest to take someone out there who's on YouTube that has a mohawk?
I would love to.
Yeah.
So Copper had to pay for that one. Going to Europe is not inexpensive, man.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. I mean, the cheap seats will kill you. So I'm done with SHOT Show in the United States. The reason we went to Iwo was because Copper, it wasn't a Mac thing, so I didn't go there as media to shoot video.
I was going to say, how many people said, hey, Mac, you can't go to SHOT Show, but you can go to the Germany SHOT Show?
Exactly. So we went there for business for Copper. It had nothing to do with the Military Arms Channel, and we're there because Copper is trying to get into the import game.
Okay.
So it's, because retail sales, man, has sucked for the last few years, and you know, evolve or die, and I don't want it dying. So we're trying to get into the import side. So that's why we were.
It's not easy. It's not easy to do. I don't know if people really realize that it's not easy to have any brick and mortar business, and then much less one that's highly regulated and hated by you're
not going to get rich owning a gun store most of the time. I mean, I've been in like Adventure Guns down in Georgia. Adventure Outdoors or whatever. I'll wear the ball cap. We held the Patreon event there. So myself, Skinny Medic, and forgive me if I leave somebody out, Hickok and John came out. Such came out. Guns and Gear couldn't make it. Eric and Brandy, his wife, set the whole thing up. But we had this Patreon event, so we invited all of our Patreons to come and have dinner. And this gun store has 18,000 guns in stock.
Oh, wow.
And oh my gosh, it's I posted a kind of a pano of just one section of the store on Instagram. It took 3 pictures to show
Yeah.
it. It's just
Right.
massive, and
Oh,
of
that
course
sounds awesome.
it
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
they were fans of the channel. The manager was, and so we're going to be doing an annual event there. So for our Patreons, every year we're going to be. It's in I don't know how you pronounce it, Smyrna or whatever, Smyrna, SMYRA,
Smyrna,
something, Georgia.
Georgia. Okay, Smyrna.
But
Okay, cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, man, that was
I heard about that. I think
so those
Brandy was
guys.
telling me about that. Yeah.
They make
Yeah.
money in guns. We
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Not enough
It's
to be
it's not an
rich.
easy it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy
APC
thing to do.
300 video. Yeah, I wish I could.
Yeah, someone is asking me, I think it's the Tyven Show wants to know if
Adventure
you would
Outdoors.
get. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Tyven Show says, will you get a tattoo? Would you, for a free gun, would you get a tattoo if someone was giving you a free gun?
An Alien Arms logo, yeah,
Really?
but no more
That's
than
your,
2 by 2. I'm not going to do
oh,
like all the way across the
okay.
shoulders, but yeah,
Do you
I
have any
would.
tattoos? Do you have any tattoos right now?
I don't, and I'm probably
Oh,
one of the
okay.
few guys that actually served in the Marine Corps and didn't get a tattoo. And it wasn't
You
for
think,
lack of
okay.
trying. I went in
Right.
sloppy drunk to get an EGA, and believe it or not, they told me they wouldn't tattoo me because I was drunk. And
Oh, okay.
so, in an infantry
Yeah.
school in SOI, one of the guys that was in SOI, he got the EGA, or he got the entire EGA on his back, and he just had the outline done. And he's in SOI, dude. We're running around with 80-pound packs, and
Mhm.
he's got this brand new tattoo on his back. And talk about
Yeah.
excruciating pain, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that
But he was
tattoo's
drunk.
messed up.
He got
Oh,
his.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I saved by
Yeah.
alcohol in that case.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have any tattoos either. Do you have any piercings?
Nope, never did it. I
Okay,
pierced a
yeah. See,
buddy's ear in high school. He wanted me to do it, so I stuck a pin through his ear.
Okay.
When you're in Kansas,
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of things to do. You go
Yeah, I
cow
know.
tipping and you pierce your buddy's ear with a
Yeah.
needle you held a Bic lighter to, and it's sterilized. There you
Right.
go.
Yeah, this is like prison piercing.
Exactly.
Or
Could have
prison
some Kansas prison tattoos as well, but I didn't know how, so that's probably the reason
Yeah.
why we don't have any of those.
Yeah. See, you're not as sexy as everyone thinks you are, man.
No.
You need to get what do they call it? A tramp stamp. You need a tramp
A
stamp.
tramp stamp, yeah. Exit only, and right.
Yeah. So for that alien pistol, for the alien pistol,
Watch
Brandy,
the guys. Watch Lago Arms guys send me an email like, okay, man, we're paying for the tattoo, we're shipping the pistol. Like, no, wait a minute, what did I say?
Yeah. Be careful. You're saying it. Someone will go.
Somebody will hold me up to doing it.
And you're saying anything in that 2-inch square? Is that what you're saying?
Not anything. Yeah. There are boundaries. Like
the logo
if it's
of a
highly
company.
offensive, no.
Oh, okay. What about the logo of a company? Can that go in there?
Let me see. Would it be worth? How about you? Would it be worth a $6,000 gun to get a 2x2 logo tattooed of a company on your body somewhere? Yeah.
I'm gonna say no.
No.
I'm gonna say no to that. No.
If I could pick the location, and it's a gun I truly wanted, like the alien pistol, I would consider it.
Really?
I would.
I don't know.
Because if I could put it
maybe for a Gatling gun. Maybe for a Gatling gun.
Oh, definitely for a Gatling gun. One of those Colt Gatling guns. They're like $40,000. I would get the Colt logo tattooed across my back.
Yeah. For that, it has to be something that I don't think I can convince Lola to buy to let me buy. Was what I should say. It's more correct. I have to call Lola or text her for anything over $20.
I just saw a funny comment. Finally get a chance to tune in. Immediately I'm presented with the image of Tim and a tramp stamp.
Yeah, this is the kind of trouble I always get you into. Everyone thinks that you're not funny, you're not a crack up, and people don't realize that you are.
Oh yeah, they got to come filming with us because I'm trying to change that image a little bit. Long story. So I was traveling down south to a YouTube event. It might have been Eric's shoot, and Zeke Stout was with us. Formerly of the podcast Talking Lead, and then
Talking Lead,
Master of Arms there for a while in Discovery.
TV show.
Yep. And so we were all eating at McDonald's, like 10 Outdoors 9, me, him, 22 Plinkster, and some other folks, and everybody got up because we were kind of doing a little caravan down to wherever it was we were going, and we stopped at the same restaurant to eat together, and we all had to go into the pisser at the same time. And so there I'm standing there at the urinal, and I'm looking down the line of urinals. It's like, here's all these YouTube guys all standing side by side, all taking a leak into a urinal.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't
Picture.
resist that picture, right? So I snapped that picture and posted it to Instagram. And Zeke looks at me and goes, "You're not going to post that, are you?" I said, "Already did." He's like, "You're nothing like what I imagined. You're so serious and straight laced. I mean, I had no idea you had that kind of sense of humor." I'm like, "Dude, hang out with me for a while."
Yeah. Sometimes, like, I know we've done videos and people are like, why is Mac like laughing? They think I'm some kind of bad influence. I'm like, no, he's the bad influence.
Yeah, I am, dude. And that's the other thing is in real life, I cuss. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I keep it clean on the channel because I want it to be a family channel. But if you meet me in real life, I'm a little bit different. I like to have a good time. I don't drink anymore. So Aaron, one of the cameramen that used to help out in the beginning, he calls it Fun Tim. And so 10 years ago when my first son was born, I swore off drinking and haven't touched the stuff since. And Aaron always comes over and says, "Man, can Fun Tim come out this weekend? I'm really bored." It's like, no, Fun Tim's dead, buried, and gone. Never to reemerge.
So this Tim version that messes with everyone is the sober Tim.
Yeah. Get me out to dinner and I'll tell you some stories of things that we've done for fun, and you'll be like, "What? For real?" Yeah.
I believe it. Marine, that's all I need to hear.
Yeah. I tell you what.
I already know.
Have you met John Lovell, Warrior Poet?
I don't think so, no.
If you get a chance to, shake his hand and say hi to the guy. What a great dude. I got to hang out with him down at Eric's, and he was the guy that immediately like patched my finger up. And it was kind of funny because as soon as I dropped the barrel on my finger, I mean, that's, when I started like thinking of every cuss word I could think of, I was mad because I felt like I just destroyed the entire week. Like, I came down there to film, spent all that time and money to get there. And now I've, ripped the end of my finger off. And I was angry that I had screwed up my week, and which he thought to be funny. He said in a post on Instagram he was looking for a tear to be shed, and all he saw was rage. And and I was mad. And he calmed me down, and he's like, "Dude, we got to get some gauze on that." And he wrapped my finger in gauze, and I'm kicking trees and throwing things. Like, damn it, I can't believe I screwed up this whole week. And him and Eric sat with me. I mean, it happened like right at 5:00. And by the time I got done jacking with all the hospitals and stuff, man, it was after 9:00, and I completely lost track of time. But that video's up if you want to find out how I destroyed the end of my finger, but it's all fixed.
Yeah. That's, I'm glad that it's going to be, you're going to get full use out of the finger, right?
Oh yeah, man. The nerves are actually dead here. Like I don't feel anything.
Okay.
I'm flicking the actual wound that's 10 days old. I must have ripped the nerve or something there. But that's a good thing, The only reason I can carry appendix is I had and this is too much information probably, but I had a hernia repair done on my right side, and they clipped the nerve when they put the wire mesh in there so it doesn't bother you. And that's why I can get away with carrying appendix, because what used to like poke and prod me, it's just dead. There's no feeling there whatsoever. So I can carry like a 500 Smith & Wesson appendix, and it doesn't faze me.
So now you got more. I was thinking something else, which I'm not going to say. I'm not going to let the. I'm not going to let the podcast.
Both channels, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to let the podcast evolve. Lola's going to get really mad. She's like, okay, you get Mac to come on, and then you go to your potty humor immediately. So, did you have any more comments that you wanted to read?
No, man. I mean, just folks some folks talking about some of the stuff that we're talking about. You never did. Oh, you showed your FS 2000.
Yeah, I showed. That's the only thing that I have. I bring everything in here with me. I could show some other stuff, by the way, like another thing that sponsors me, Fort Scott Munitions, right there.
Fort Scott Munitions.
Have you heard of these guys?
Absolutely, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good guys out in Kansas.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Fort Scott, Kansas.
Yeah, I guess.
I can put you in touch with them, but they make really good stuff.
Please do.
And they send me ammo, which is a huge deal
massive.
For me as a gun guy. Whatever they make, they send to me, and that helps me save a little bit of money.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely it does. So I'm a brand ambassador for Federal. I chased them around forever because as a kid, I've shot American Eagle ever since I was in high school, and I chased them around forever. They don't send me money, but they send me ammo, and I love working with them. A great bunch of guys. They've taken me on some hunts, and I chose them because I use their ammo, and yeah, it's been good. I finally got to break in through that door, and they're
it's
helping
a
us
big
out.
deal. It's
I
a
can
big
still talk
deal.
about
I
other
don't know if
brands
you.
and use other brands. There's no
Oh, cool.
contract or anything. So
Yeah, absolutely. So Fort Scott make 6.5, and I think the code is Hank10 that gets you 10% off from Fort Scott. They make 6.5, 9mm, 223, 300 blackout. They do subsonic, all kinds of stuff. They have 357. Shout out to those guys. Let me see. What do you want to do? Like a pocket dump? See what you're carrying?
sure, man.
I mean, yeah.
Because that's a good way to like surprise people. Like when you get them on the show,
Yeah.
like what are they carrying? So let me reach in my pocket, I'll get my flashlight out.
Yeah. So other than the gun, like I've got like my that's my Glock 43
Glock 43,
that I have
huh?
in a Harry's holster. So shout out to Harry's holster. So Glock 43 is what I have. Let's see what else I got. Here's my knife. Everyone should have a knife. This is actually from Topps Knives. It's the Mill Spy or Mill Spy.
Dude, that looks just like a ZT.
Yeah, very good, very good, very light. Yeah, very light from Topps Knives. I don't know if you're aware of those guys. They make good quality stuff, man.
I'm gonna have to check them out. But that looks like a ZT 350, and I thought the ZT was going to cancel that knife, and that would be a travesty because it's such a great blade.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's the exact same blade profile. That's that. You know, if it's a quality of a ZT, that's an outstanding profile.
Yeah.
In a blade.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty good quality. Very sharp. I'm getting deeper and deeper into knives, man, as time goes on here.
You and me both.
And yeah, I'm trying to get these guys to come on the show. I have had let me see, who was it I had on the show? I had Microtech on the show, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So those guys are cool.
And I've bought probably 5 of their knives, and they don't talk to me.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see what else I got here. I got now I believe in having flashlights. So now I know because I'm one of your patrons, this is an O-light. I don't know. I know sometimes I hear that O-light harasses you.
So that patron event that we had at Adventure Outdoors down in Georgia, what I was told by Mr. Guns and Gear, Mavis, I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name, came from O-light, came to our event to apologize to me in person for harassing me, trying to get me to do videos on their products. And I felt so bad because she was so sincere and so kind. And so anyway, yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
No, it went a long way. They're nice
folks.
I accepted the apology. You're not going to hear me rip on O-light. I publicly shamed them because they would not stop sending me emails trying to get me to do videos on the products. And I politely declined over and over and over again. And a different person would contact me a week later. And then they started posting on my Instagram posts. Like, hey, we'd really like to send you some stuff. You know, tell us what you want, and we'll get it to you.
Yeah.
And I finally just screenshot it, posted it, and said, this type of harassment needs to stop. I mean, and apparently,
I think they're overzealous.
She felt compelled to come out and apologize, and profusely, and I accepted. So. Yeah,
that's good. I'm glad to hear that. They do a lot of good stuff. I know I went to a thing where Such was talking about how they helped out a friend of his, the family that died and all that kind of stuff, and donated. Such, they were selling a bunch of flashlights, and all that money went to the family. So that kind of stuff is good. This is a H1R Nova for anyone who's interested.
It's an angle head.
Yeah, I like it because of that angle head, so I could put it on my shirt like that and turn it on, and then I could be hands-free. I live in the country, and when I get home, there's literally...
We called them moonbeams in the Corps. We had green ones that are a lot bigger and like 50 lumens, if that much, probably 40.
Yeah. So, and I think, let me see, that's it. I have my backup magazine on me. So there you go. I got a backup magazine for the...
That's where I'm lacking. I never carry backup, and I should. I know I should. So I'm carrying Streamlight.
Very nice. Very nice. I like it. Called.
It's a really good programmable light. It's like my go-to. If I lose it, it only costs me like $40. We got a great store right here in town called the Flashlight Outlet, and
I like Streamlight, man. Look, I've got a key. Look at this. This is a key Streamlight right here. Yeah. So you can put it and it charges up through USB. I like Streamlight stuff. They do good stuff. Yeah.
Steyr M9 better than the Glock? No way in my experience. Get a Glock. So the pocket knife, I've been really fond of these. They're like $100.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's a
Kershaw
Launch 6.
And
I have it in green. This one's gray, flat dark earth. There's something on it, some gunk. I use it as a box opener. I'm not a knife fighter, and if I'm using a knife for self-defense, something's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, I like that. Is that lightweight?
Oh yeah, it's super lightweight. It's very thin
Yeah, that
aluminum.
looks good, man. I like that urban gray, you know?
Yep. Check them out.
Yeah.
Blade HQ is where I got it, and you get them on sale called the Launch 6, and it's an
Do
auto.
you guys in the store in Copper Custom, do you carry
We
any knives there?
don't, and I talked to my business
Oh.
partner about it. I'd like to carry a couple of select brands, but
Mhm.
it's hard enough trying to inventory firearms given the size of our store, and so it's a whole different market. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not an expert on knives. I mean, I know what I like in a knife, and I know the materials and the function. I know what I like in terms of feel and size and actions and that stuff. I know what I like in a knife, but I'm by no means an expert. And so,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. Same here. Same here. I'm
the
not expert of
Pistola
anything.
A&R Design holster. That's their logo, if you can see it.
Okay.
The A&R guys are really, really good. It seems like they build a holster the way I like it. So I carry appendix. I like it straight up and down. This clip, single clip, pops over a belt. This little device here pushes the butt of the gun into your stomach so it doesn't print underneath the t-shirt, which is all I'm wearing today. And I'm carrying the LTT Beretta. And this really surprised a lot of folks. This is a hot weapon, so I'm going to be careful with it. But it's the LTT, and it's just their basic model, which is the same price as an M9A3, but it's very, very smoothed out. Such an amazing smooth shooter. It's heavier than the CZ that I'm used to carrying, but it makes up for it in the way that it shoots. It's just so silky smooth, man. They've got that recoil spring weighted perfectly where the gun just doesn't feel like the slide bottoms out when it comes back. It just feels it's just the smoothest shooting handgun. It totally won me over when I did my video with it, and yeah, it made me put the PO1 to rest.
I remember that journey you went on to get away from to move away from Glocks, like carrying Glocks.
Yeah, so my biggest complaint with Glock for the longest time was the fact that this see the trigger guard? Look how tiny that trigger is. And that's my big finger, right? Now imagine that finger with a glove on it. It's not going in there. And I discovered this for years after carrying a Glock 19. I don't typically wear gloves, but sometimes we get, like this winter, literally got 20 below, and that's before the wind chill. With wind chill, it was over 60 below. And I wore gloves, right? And this happened before this bitterly cold last winter. And we're finished up filming. I pulled my Glock out to do some practice, as I typically do. And I had a glove on, and it was a thin glove. It was an outdoor research, very thin glove, but I couldn't get my finger in the trigger guard without starting to press that trigger. And I was like, how in the world did I not know this already? And it made me start looking for different guns. I was going from the 3 o'clock outside the waistband carry to appendix. And I was really, fast out of the holster, slow back in and looking. And because with a striker, you can make a mistake very easily. And so I started looking at double action pistols. So if you take a look at the Beretta, you'll notice it has a much larger trigger hole there and a gloved hand. And the CZ is true as well. It does the same thing. The CZ and the Beretta, or most double actions, have very large trigger guards. So I can wear a full size, bitterly cold, super thick glove, and I can still get my finger on the trigger. So those two factors, carrying appendix and wanting double action. So when I reholster, I can put my thumb on the hammer, and when I push it in, if I feel that hammer move, I stop pushing because I know something's in the trigger guard. And I can get a gloved hand. I can use it with a gloved hand. So those are the two things that pushed me away from Glock. But Glocks are amazing defensive tools.
Yeah, it makes sense. I know there's some people talking about the blur that's going up around you. I don't know if you turned that on your side. They're saying it's only on my side, but I don't see where I put it on.
I don't see it on my side, and it says...
Yeah. Like we said earlier, we're testing this out, so I'm not exactly sure why that blur is... It looks like it's a blur that's just masking out everything around your face. So
that's weird.
Yeah, so when you bring up the gun, it's not working so much, but like right now, it's just blurring. Everyone can see you clearly, but everything around you outside of your silhouette is blurred.
So like I see a check mark here. It says blur background, but it's not checked. It's an empty box.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. That probably has something to do with the fact, like, there's little glitches and stuff like that going on here that we'll figure out. We just jumped on to do all of this, so...
Yeah, I can't even check that box, so...
Yeah, and there definitely isn't one here. I don't even see it here, because it's not a thing that I would usually have access to on my side.
Huh.
it would be something that you would have access to.
There's no blur from Mac Viewer, so tactical review.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah. So maybe it's on my side.
I can't even get there. The comments scroll by so fast. Tactical review. Here you go. Here you go, brother.
Yeah.
So
there's a bunch of people
no
out there.
from Mac Viewer. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure that all out the next time that we do this. I mean, we should probably start wrapping it up.
Okay, it's going on 2 hours. Wow, yeah. Time flies.
So, and I know we were thinking about maybe doing this more often.
Yeah.
Doing something where we get together, either like I come over on your channel and do it, or you come over here, or we maybe do this thing again. Honestly, where simultaneously.
This is something we stumbled into this evening, and I'm going to go back and watch it after it posts and processes. But this kind of opens up a whole new way to do things, man. Instead of, like I said, you picking a night for me to be on your show and then me picking a night for you to be on mine. I mean, man, if we could
just this. Jump on in one night.
So what I was thinking about doing, if you follow the Military Arms channel, I used to do segments called State of the Second. And it was basically centered around politics, but I can expand, what it covers. But I was thinking about bringing that back, but as a live broadcast versus a recorded and edited video to basically do, a discussion of events that affect the Second Amendment or new products that are on the market, defensive products, whatever, and make it a live conversation versus, again, that edited thing. And maybe this is how we do it, man. We can have a discussion offline and see how that plays out, and we'll read the comments and see what folks have to say.
Yeah, and maybe we'll if we do that, we might include some other people, like maybe get one or two other people in. We'll see. It definitely all depends on how it works out. But either way, I would like to do some stuff with you moving forward. Michael Malone says, I may have missed it, but did you or Matt cover the new laws in Switzerland?
Oh, yeah.
Plus, have you guys heard anything about the TAPS thing?
Yeah, man. Sure. So that was really, really weird. So I was in Switzerland a little over a year ago. And they were having that conversation. So even though they're not part of the EU, they still kind of follow some of the edicts that the EU does. And they were really concerned, gun owners in Switzerland, and a very, very, very strong gun culture there. And probably the strongest anywhere else in the world besides the United States. And the gun owners were really, really concerned that the Swiss were going to vote to adopt these EU edicts that would severely restrict the private ownership of firearms. And it looks like they went down that road, which really has a bunch of Swiss folks up in arms, no pun intended. And that's unnerving. It seems like there's been more of a swing in Europe. I know that they just had elections in Brussels for the EU, and it seems like things are starting to swing back towards the middle and not so far left. But I don't know. It certainly wasn't in time to save the Swiss from that. And it's bad, man. I mean, it seems like in the United States, we have good and bad happening. So Indiana, for example, just passed a law during NRAM. I think it was actually signed, but they passed a law says, we're not going to go constitutional carry, but basically firearms permits are free. There's no charge. So we took one step closer to constitutional carry. My home state of Kansas, they're a constitutional carry state now. I think there's 13 or 14 states, maybe more, that have adopted constitutional carry. And for those of you who don't know what that means, it just means nothing's required to carry a gun concealed or openly. You being an American citizen is your permit, which is the way it should be, because the Constitution protects that right. It doesn't give you the right, it protects that right. But yeah, so we have good things like that happen. But then we have stuff like what just went down in Washington State, what's constantly going down in California, what's constantly going down in New York, and
horrible stuff that happened in Florida,
all places.
Yeah, I'm really upset about that. So we didn't cover the Switzerland thing, and we're going to talk about all these things coming on. I see Babyface is in there. He's like, "What? I thought there wasn't a show tonight." No, there wasn't.
There wasn't, man. We're like, Hank was like, "I took the night off, man," and Lola and I are at dinner, and I'm heading into the studio, and what you don't know is I actually went home and was talking to my wife, and you texted me, and I said, "Honey, I got to go." So Hank's heading into the studio. And she's like, "Oh, whatever, get out of here." So
yeah, your wife's awesome.
Thank you.
By
Guys
the way, your whole
the
family's pretty cool, man. Yeah. So yeah, we'll probably do some stuff like this, and we'll talk about all these different things. If we go down the path of this conversation right now, we'll be here for another like 2-3 hours.
We'll save it for next week, right?
Yeah, we'll do some stuff. We'll talk about it next week. I think what we should do here as we wrap up, I would encourage everyone, if you're not subscribed to Military Arms Channel, go there, subscribe. If you're not supporting him on Patreon, please do go support him on Patreon and check out all his social media. Lots of good stuff coming out for Military Arms Channel. So
and the same here for my viewers. Please check out Hank Strange. Hank has a couple of channels. I kind of have a hard time keeping up with everything you do. So you have a live streaming channel, then you have your regular Hank Strange channel. But please support him on Patreon. But go and check out his channels and subscribe. Hank and I have been friends for many years. Met at a bullpup shoot 6 years ago, something like that. It's been a while.
I would say about 6 years. Yeah,
it's
at
been
least
about 6 years ago, and we've been friends ever since. And he runs a really good nightly, if I'm not mistaken, broadcast, right? So I mean,
Monday to Friday on Lifestyles of the Locked and Loaded. So if you go on YouTube and search Lifestyles of the Locked and Loaded or Hank Strange podcast, it's a separate channel because YouTube obviously comes down on us. And
one strike and you lose your ability to live stream. And if your bread and butter's live streaming, and what's
so we
weird
separated
is
it.
Live streams are the only thing that they've yet to demonetize for us. And
really?
So all my videos are demonetized, but my live streams are still monetized. So people are saying, "What's happening? Why are we seeing ads in these long videos?" And they keep putting ads throughout the entire broadcast, like 5 advertisements. I didn't select that. YouTube's just doing it on their own.
Yeah, I think they want longer content. Believe it or not, they want longer content. So maybe they don't want to go full steam ahead against that stuff. Yeah, this is going to be episode 390. So we do have some of the live streams that are demonetized, because I guess there was something in there they didn't like. But like you were saying, every video we put up now gets demonetized in some way.
Instantly. Instantly.
Yeah.
I want to thank Jim Nugent. Guys, this is Jim. He's one of my biggest Patreon supporters, and he always does tremendous super chats. Jim, dude, we got to get together, get you here, get you out on the range, go shooting together something. Man, thank you for all the support. You're amazing. I have such great Patreons and supporters. I mean, I don't want to start crying, but I mean,
I think they realize what you're doing for them.
Has been amazing, and this is our livelihood. So it doesn't just keep the channel going. You actually support both Jason and myself and our families, and pay the mortgage, buy new camera equipment, and pay all the credit cards the lives run up. I mean, whew.
Yeah. Shout out to Jason, by the way. He's a good dude, man. I think you're very fortunate to have Jason on your side there. He's a good guy.
I've been very blessed. I have some very good friends, and him and Aaron have been awesome.
Anyway. Aaron too. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, we'll have to drag him out, man. He's jumping big back into guns lately. He's in the store buying suppressors and guns and hanging out more with us on the range, and so. I can't afford to bring him on as a cameraman now, but he comes and hangs out on his free time. But,
okay, cool.
All right, man.
Good. Okay, so we're gonna sign off now. I'm gonna drop my end thing, but thanks to everyone for joining us. Thanks to all the folks on the Military Arms Channel side. Stay right there, Mac. I'm gonna drop my end thing here. There it goes.
All right, guys.
Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, thumbs ups. Ring the bell so you can be notified. And that's pretty much it. We are out of here. See you guys. Peace. Right. See you next time.
Hit the notification bell. That's really important. That's the only way you're going to get notified of new videos. All right, guys. We're out of here too. Yes. Thanks for watching. Yeah. We'll be back.
No show tomorrow. I'm going to hang out with Lola. No show tomorrow.
All right, guys. See you later.
Yeah, lots of thanks coming in there at the end. Yeah.